The truth behind Chuck D's most controversial decisions has finally revealed itself. And at 65, the Public Enemy legend is setting the record straight on rumors that have followed him for years. In 2020, fans watched in shock as he publicly fired Flavor Flav from Public Enemy in a heated social media battle. But the real story behind this drama shows just how brilliant Chuck D really is. It all started with a Bernie Sanders rally. Chuck D wanted to perform under the banner Public Enemy Radio to support the presidential candidate. Flavor Flav wasn't having it. Through his lawyer, Flav sent a cease and desist letter to the Sanders campaign, claiming Chuck D's voice alone does not speak for Public Enemy, and that any performance would use his unauthorized likeness, image, and trademarked clock. Chuck D fired back hard. He told Pitchfork that Flavor chooses to dance for his money and not do benevolent work like this. On Twitter, he accused Flav of refusing to do free benefit shows. The war of words escalated when Chuck D and other group members announced they were moving forward without Flavor Flav, claiming he'd been on suspension since 2016. Flavor Flav wasn't backing down. He shot back on Twitter, "I'm your partner, you can't fire me. There is no Public Enemy without Flavor Flav." He also denied Chuck D's claims about his sobriety, stating he'd been clean for 10 years. But here's where it gets interesting. 1 month later, Chuck D revealed the entire thing was an elaborate hoax. He compared it to Orson Welles' famous 1938 War of the Worlds radio broadcast, explaining that he and Flavor Flav had planned everything beforehand to grab attention and highlight media bias towards reporting bad news about hip-hop. The stunt was designed to promote their new album, Loud Is Not Enough, under the name Enemy Radio. However, Flavor Flav later distanced himself from this narrative, tweeting, "I am not a part of your hoax." This suggests that even if the public spat was staged, the underlying tensions were very real. The 2020 incident wasn't random. Chuck D and Flavor Flav have always represented two opposing forces within Public Enemy. Chuck D embodies political gravitas and social messaging, while Flavor Flav became known for his flamboyant persona and later reality TV appearances. This fundamental split between activism and entertainment has created ongoing friction. The financial disputes run deep. In 2017, Flavor Flav sued Chuck D and the group's management, claiming he was owed royalties and compensation for his image on their 2017 album, Nothing Is Quick in the Desert. Though the lawsuit was dismissed on a technicality, it revealed how the group's management had, for years, attempted to minimize his role. Chuck D has spent decades fighting for artist rights in ways most people never see. In 2019, he filed a major lawsuit against his longtime publishers, Reach Global Music and Terradome Music Publishing, alleging they cheated him out of over $1 million in royalties. According to court documents, Chuck D claimed that back in 2001, a man named Michael Kloster convinced him to form a new publishing company. The lawsuit alleged Kloster orchestrated a complex master plan involving unconscionable contracts, hidden transactions, false and fraudulent copyright registrations that resulted in Chuck D losing 42% of his catalog. This wasn't his first legal battle either. In 1998, he settled with the estate of the notorious B.I.G. over sampling his voice from Shut 'Em Down on Biggie's 10 Crack Commandments. Even then, Chuck D was protecting artists' rights to fair compensation. Then came the move that left everyone scratching their heads. In 2022, Chuck D sold a significant portion of his music catalog to Reach Music Publishing, the exact same company he had sued just 3 years earlier. The deal covered his writing share and 50% copyright interest for over 300 songs from Public Enemy's catalog spanning 1987 to 2012. When explaining the sale, Chuck D called it the right timing for a forward and logical evolution of our business together in an ever-changing industry. He said he trusted Reach to continue taking care of my works. Critics called it hypocritical. How do you sue a company for fraud, then turn around and sell them your life's work? But Chuck D's move was actually brilliant strategic thinking. Rather than selling out, he leveraged his legal victory to negotiate from a position of strength. After years of fighting the system, he found a way to secure his financial legacy within it. Chuck D hasn't just been battling publishers, he's been critiquing the entire direction of hip-hop culture. From the beginning, Public Enemy's mission was to be the neighborhood's CNN, injecting social consciousness into rap music. He argues that major record labels deliberately pushed hip-hop into a solo industry, moving away from the group dynamics that defined the genre's golden era. This shift, he says, replaced the collective voice that spoke for movements with individual artists focused on personal experiences. As Chuck D puts it, no such thing as a one-man movement. His technical criticisms are just as sharp. He believes modern hip-hop suffers from mass-manufactured production, where producers give rappers incomplete tracks, force forcing MCs to pretend and foresee the possibility of the track being at its best. He contrasts this with the collaborative, organic production teams of Motown and Stax, where skilled musicians created rich sonic landscapes that influenced the rapper's performance. For Chuck D, individualism and commercial focus mean the soul of the song is gone. Perhaps the most controversial chapter in Chuck D's evolution came when he accepted the role of U.S. Global Music Ambassador, a program run by the State Department and YouTube to promote peace and democracy through music diplomacy. Critics immediately pounced. How does the man who wrote Fight the Power end up working for the power? They compared it to Cold War programs where the CIA used black jazz musicians like Louis Armstrong as soft power to promote American democracy abroad, while black artists faced racism at home. Chuck D's defense is characteristically direct. He says his goal is promoting hip-hop globally, and he doesn't trust any government. When asked about historical comparisons, he responded bluntly, "What the fuck has that got to do with 2025?" This raises the ultimate question for any revolutionary artist. Can you use the establishment's platforms to spread your message without compromising it? What makes Chuck D truly remarkable is how his creativity extends far beyond music. He earned a Bachelor of Fine Arts from Adelphi University in 1984, designing flyers for hip-hop events and drawing cartoons for the student newspaper. In recent years, he's returned to visual arts with a striking kaleidoscope of paintings, sketches, and drawings exploring current cultural issues alongside tributes to musical icons like Bob Dylan, Nina Simone, and Run DMC. In 2022, he published Livin' Loud, featuring over 250 artworks with 13,000 words of commentary tracing his artistic journey. His collaborations showcase incredible versatility. He pioneered rap metal with Anthrax's 1991 Bring the Noise remix, introducing hip-hop to rock fans. He provided political counterpoint to Janet Jackson's New Agenda and worked with John Mellencamp on Cutting Heads because Mellencamp saw him as the conscience of the whole black community. In 2016, he joined Prophets of Rage with members of Rage Against the Machine, blending revolutionary hip-hop and rock energy. He's also written books including Fight the Power, Rap, Race, and Reality, and hosted the 2023 PBS documentary series, Fight the Power, How Hip-Hop Changed the World. Looking at Chuck D's career, you see apparent contradictions everywhere. He champions collective action, but releases solo albums. He sues his publisher for fraud, then sells them his catalog. He writes Fight the Power, but becomes a government ambassador. But these aren't contradictions. They're strategic evolution. Chuck D understands that to maintain influence and secure his legacy, he must engage with existing systems rather than simply opposing them from the outside. When he sold his catalog to Reach Music, he wasn't giving up. He was cashing in on years of legal pressure to get the deal he deserved. The 2020 Flavor Flav hoax perfectly demonstrates this thinking. Even if it started as a publicity stunt, it exposed real media bias while generating attention for their music. Chuck D turned internal drama into external commentary on how the industry treats hip-hop artists. At 65, Chuck D has survived and thrived through hip-hop's complete transformation. He's watched the culture go from underground resistance movement to global commercial powerhouse. Instead of being left behind, he's found ways to maintain his voice and values while adapting to new realities. His ambassador role might seem like selling out, but it gives him a platform to promote hip-hop worldwide. His catalog sales secured his family's financial future while keeping his music active in the market. His collaborations across genres expanded hip-hop's influence beyond traditional boundaries. Chuck D's legacy isn't defined by purity or consistency. It's defined by intelligence, adaptability, and an unwavering commitment to elevating hip-hop culture. He's shown that true revolutionaries don't just fight the power. They learn to navigate it, use it, and ultimately transform it from within. The rumors about Chuck D selling out or losing his edge miss the bigger picture. At 65, he's still the same strategic thinker who built Public Enemy into a cultural force. He's just evolved his tactics for a new era, proving that the most effective revolutionaries are the ones who know when to adapt their approach while keeping their mission intact.